Hi, welcome to Soundings with Sash. How are we doing this evening? If you're with me, please in the comments drop in and say hi because I'd like to know who is watching with me. And I am so excited tonight, and I have a lot of gratitude on this Monday evening. You never know who you're going to meet and what their experiences and expertise is. And luckily, I met this lovely lady very close to where I live. And it was so wonderful to have met her and find out her background. And she's going to bring a plethora of wonderful information to us this evening. And her name is Judy Bond. And I would like to introduce her. And thank you, Judy, for joining me tonight.
Hi, Sandy. Hi, everyone.
Hi. So anybody joined us? If you joined us, come say hi. So Judy, what is it? What is the name of your company and what is it that you do?
Well, the name of my company is Bond Team Inc.
Okay.
And, well, the bond is obviously from my name. And the team is, I'm all about teamwork and communication and getting your team working together. So the bond kind of has a double meaning, bond team, if you will.
Good. Yes.
And I'm affiliated with Personality Insights out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been with them since 2005. And I'm a certified human behavior consultant.
Okay. Human behavior consultant.
Yeah.
That is neat. So a human behavior consultant, I mean, what lane does that kind of fall in? I mean, as far as that goes.
Well, I want to make it clear, Sandy, that I deal with normal human behavior.
Okay.
I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. Normal human behavior. So it's normal to get angry. Okay. That's totally normal. It's not normal to go around, shooting bows and arrows at people. That would be maybe a little abnormal. So
right, that would be my last name. That's my last name. Archer.
Did you got the play on words, didn't you?
Well, so when you in your business, who is usually your normal clientele though? Who is it that you're presenting to?
So what I really like to do, I have a presentation called Team at Work.
Okay.
And that's a presentation where I work with a small business or a small department in a big business.
Mm-hmm.
And we do everybody's personality profile ahead of time. And then, I'll take them through the model of the human behavior. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight so that they understand it. They start to understand themselves.
Okay.
The people that they work with, and then work with them on how to connect with the other people on their team.
Okay.
So
right.
That's what I do when I'm working with a group that knows one another.
Okay.
If I'm speaking to a networking group, I might do what we're going to be doing tonight. I might do time tips for all types of people, helping them understand how the different personalities have a completely different relationship to time.
Okay.
I have a wonderful presentation for salespeople, helping them understand how their personality helps them or hurts them in the sales process.
Oh.
And how to understand their customer's personality style.
Okay.
And maybe deal with each customer a little differently based on personalities. I've even worked with doctors.
Oh.
Helping them understand if they want their patients to follow their instructions, it's good for them to understand the personality style of the patient. I have worked with Cleveland University, and done a lot of role playing with the students there,
Okay.
where I play the patient and they're trying to give me a report of findings,
Okay.
and I'll respond to them in different ways and see what happens.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. So what kind of personality test do they take? Is it like a Myers-Briggs, or is it
So I'm certified in what's called the DISC model of human behavior.
DISC? Uh-huh. Yep.
And when we go through the PowerPoint we're going to go through here in a little bit, we'll go into what that's all about. But that's kind of like the granddaddy of them all. So
Okay.
whether it's Myers-Briggs or many of the other tests, Colby, that you might hear about,
Yeah.
they all have their basic in DISC, and DISC even goes back to the Greeks.
I didn't know that.
You probably have heard words like phlegmatic and melancholy and
Yes.
all goes back to those thoughts.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm a ENFJ.
In the Myers-Briggs.
In the Myers-Briggs, and I think I'm a C, a high C or something like that.
Well, we'll
I don't know. I remember taking all of those. They're fun to take. I love taking them.
And I'm going to give you a discovery report to do, Sandy. So we'll know for sure. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I had meant to do that before tonight, and it just kind of went off the schedule. So
yes. Well, me being on vacation too.
vacation. That was part of it. And you weren't here, so I
yes.
pin you down. So.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, I know I'm an EN something, and then I think I'm a C. I'm not sure. I don't know.
We'll see if we can kind of work
That'd be
through
great.
that a little bit. Okay.
Awesome. So what you're going to show us tonight is the leadership, a leadership personality. Now, is everybody a leader?
Oh, yes. Everyone is a leader.
Yes.
People will say, well, I'm not a leader. Well, are you a parent? Well, yes. Yeah. Well, then you're leading your children. Are you a child?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you might have to lead your parents,
Right.
Are you head of a volunteer organization? I mean, yes, we're all leaders.
Okay, that's and that's funny. That's what I've always thought. I was like, well, I think you just got to draw that leadership out of you, right? I mean, is it kind of like deciding to bring out a leadership style, or is that automatic, or how does that work?
Well, when we go into the presentation, your leadership personality, we're going to understand how each style leads, and each style has some ways of leading that you might want to borrow and steal from the other styles. So some things come naturally to you, and some things you're going to have to steal from the other personality styles, because really that's the secret. It's fun. You've probably heard people talk about personality styles. It's fun. The difference with me, Sandy, is I'm going to help you use that information to make a difference in your life in two ways. And one is, we've talked about it, improving your relationships with others, understanding other people, why they do the way they do. But the other is, you can adapt your personality style to accomplish your goals. And me, I'm not an outgoing type person. I'm very reserved. But to do what I'm doing now, and why am I doing it? Well, hey, I think this is great information, and I really think it helps people.
Yeah.
So I want you to understand it. So I've had to adapt my personality. When I went to my first networking event, Sandy, I looked in the door and then I went home.
Oh.
And then when I went to my second networking event, I went inside and I sat down at a table, and somebody came over and actually talked to me. So, I adapted. It was gradual, but now I can go to a networking event and I can actually talk to people and initiate the conversation.
Right.
You got to, one of my favorite sayings, Sandy, is you've got to be willing to be bad in order to be good. Okay.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's good. Yeah.
I went to a meeting. You're probably have heard of the International Coach Federation. I went to a local meeting, and there was a gentleman on my left, and I said, "Well, what do you do?" And he said, "I'm a speaker." I said, "Great." There was a lady on my right, and I said, "What do you do?" She said, "Well, I'm a speaker." I said, "Great." So I turned to the gentleman. I said, "Where are some of the places that you have spoken?" "Well, I haven't spoken anywhere yet."
Oh.
"Oh, okay." So I turned to the lady and I said, "And where are some of the places that you've spoken?" "Well, I haven't spoken anywhere yet."
Oh.
Well, I don't know if they ever got a speaking engagement. I
But
was
they were putting themselves out there, I guess.
I was very fortunate in that some of my friends were so kind as to have me speak at their events.
Uh-huh.
And Sandy, if you had seen me the first few times I spoke,
Uh-huh.
you would have just gone home and said, "We had the worst speaker. Her topic was kind of okay, but she was horrible."
Oh. We're a lot harder on ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it probably wasn't that bad.
It might not have been that bad, but it wasn't that good. Okay.
But I'm an optimist, so you can see that's my personality. So
Yes. Thankfully, yes.
well, so I mean, on that topic, at least they were saying that they were something. They were identifying themselves as speakers. So they were just waiting for that opportunity. And it's funny. I had asked you before if you'd heard about this Clubhouse thing, and the Clubhouse thing is this new thing, like networking and entrepreneurs are going on there, and there are all these different topics. But I what I observed is, like, there's some people that speak just to speak. And there's some people that like to just talk. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like some people that are speakers are really bringing some value and something to it. And then some people just like to talk. Like, some speakers are just talkers. So, to identify who you are in that, and to get, and it's out of nervousness. Like, they were just talking because in kind of a circle because they were nervous. So they were trying to break out of, whatever they were trying to get. They were trying to identify the topic, but I think they also just like to talk. So,
and and some people do just love to talk. But if there isn't if there isn't a point, a unifying theme,
right,
something you're supposed to take home and do something with.
Yes. And I'm one of those people that likes to identify things, and then I want to bring the best out in somebody. So as a coach, that's what I want to do. I want to see what your best qualities are and bring those out, and then work on the weaker qualities and bring those out, and try to work on those places. So, and like you're going to show us tonight, I'm really excited about this leadership personality, because I don't know where I don't exactly know where I stand anymore. Because I think, doesn't this change? I mean, do you agree that in different seasons we change or we evolve or something? I mean, how does that work?
So if we're working on it, Sandy, we can adapt. Hi, Larry. We can adapt, and we can change. Yes.
Okay. Well, are you ready for me to bring your presentation on?
Ready.
I like to chit chat. I'm a chit chatter. So I mean, I want to get to know you too. And, and the audience to get to know you as well. So thank you. Hi, Larry. It's nice to see you. I know Larry knows both of us, correct?
He does.
So he's Mr. Networking right there.
He is the supreme networker.
He is. And we're so thankful to have you on here, Larry. Thank you for joining us. So if you've joined, please say hi, just to have a little hi, and we'd like to say hi to you. And so anyway, we're talking about leadership personalities. And I love taking those personality tests, honestly. Do you do the Enneagram as well?
No, I don't. I do not use the Enneagram. It is a different personality assessment.
Okay. So yours is kind of in the career lanes and the.
It's in any lane. And
okay,
if I know your Enneagram number, then I can translate that. It's just same with your Myers-Briggs. I don't have my cheat sheet right now, but I could translate to what I know.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And do you work only in groups, or do you do one-on-one coaching?
I do. I made a decision, Sandy, that I didn't want to do a lot of individual coaching.
Okay.
But I will do an individual's personality assessment and work with them on how to meet their goals based on their personality. So and then I'll be happy, and I do this a lot, turn over that personality assessment to whatever coach they're working with. So the coach has that. So I have worked with a lot of coaches where they use my personality assessments.
So do you have a story of somebody that you saw, start from, somewhere and then like really be successful, in as you coached them, or, any story like that?
One of the other things I do, I volunteer as a facilitator for a job club. So work with a lot of job seekers. And occasionally I will take one of them aside who's having difficulty in finding work. And we're not quite sure, because they're qualified. Why are they not getting the job? And so we had a lady who like that, and I just took her aside. I said, I'll call her Mary. I said, Mary, let me do your personality assessment. I won't charge you. And of course, Mary turned out to have the dominant direct personality style. And I said, Mary, you're going to have to tone it down in the interview. You're extremely qualified, extremely knowledgeable. You may be running over the interviewer with your knowledge. Okay. And you may be coming on too strong. Okay. So bring it back. And she did get hired by a consulting group. She's still there.
Oh, great.
Another young lady, just the opposite. Her mom asked if I could help her. Again, very, very intelligent lady. And but she speaks very quietly, and she doesn't look you in the eye. And so, I've worked with a lot of people like this. I say, guess what? You don't actually have to look people in the eye. You can look at their nose, you can look at their cheeks, you can even look at their ears, and they don't know that you're not looking them in the eye. But if it's scary to look them in the eye, do that trick, okay? And then I said, now I want your husband to go into the other room, and then you're going to talk to him, because I want her to bring up the volume of her voice. So again, she was able to get hired as a result of that. So,
great.
Those are, some of the things that I've done. Oftentimes I get people to see maybe the career they've picked or the course they're on isn't quite right for them. Yeah.
Right. Right. Whatever role they're in. So with this personality or leadership, is there like a list of jobs that you would be fitting
So
for?
I have a profile for teens that has a lot of career advice, and but I can also, once I see your personality style, for example, I work with an accountant whose personality style is not that of a typical accountant. And
Oh.
I selected her for that reason,
Oh,
because I've got tons of stories to tell
right.
about working with her.
Oh, wow. Well, that's neat. That's neat. Okay, well, are you ready to start our
I'm ready.
presentation?
I'm
Okay,
ready.
great. Now I'm going to do this technically for the first time. So if there is a glitch, we will know, and it will, we'll see how that goes. So hopefully we can, and we're going to share.
It worked in test.
Okay, so there we go.
All right.
Okay.
So, I call this presentation "Your Leadership Personality," and you'll see why as we get into it.
Okay. And there we go.
So, guess what? What do you think the hardest thing about leadership is?
I guess knowing if you are one, aren't one. Yes. No.
That's part of it. It's the hardest.
Okay.
The hardest thing is leading. That's the
Okay.
hardest thing. Yeah. Let me tell you another secret.
Okay.
And this is why it fits so well with self-awareness. Leadership, we often think it's about getting other people to do the right things.
Right.
But it's really about getting yourself to do the right things.
Wow. Okay.
Ever think about that?
Yeah. I didn't ever think about that. Okay.
It is often, and I would probably say it is mostly harder to lead yourself than it is to lead other people.
Oh, that is totally true. I have to say that is totally true. I agree with that. I was a manager of many people. And yes, to get my own task list done versus to get to tell everybody else to get their task list done. And yeah, it's true. It is true. Getting through all my emails was harder than getting other people to do things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't ever think about that as being part of the leadership. Yeah. So there we go.
So getting yourself to do the right things takes high emotional intelligence. And we hear a lot about EQ, emotional intelligence. And, you'll hear some really complicated definitions of it. I'm going to give you a pretty simple definition as we work through it here.
Okay. Oop, I went too far, didn't I? There we go.
That's okay. So the first dimension, and we'll go through these again, but the first dimension of emotional intelligence is self-awareness.
Right.
Which is what this is all about, self-awareness.
Right. Okay.
The second is self-control.
Okay.
Then we get into social awareness.
Social awareness.
That's understanding others.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
And finally, number 4 is social skills. So self-awareness, self-control, social awareness, and social skill. Now let's go through each one of those in a little bit deeper.
Okay.
So self-awareness is knowing yourself.
Okay.
And that's really what doing a personality assessment is all about, is you understand your behavior. You see yourself for who you are. A lot of times I'll do somebody's assessment and they'll say, well, I don't want to be a this or a that. And I'll say, well, that's just like saying you don't want to have blue eyes. That's how you were born. Okay.
Right.
A self-aware person not only understands their strengths, but they also understand their blind spots. Sandy, when I started my business, I worked with a coach, and he had to explain to me that they call them your blind spots because you can't see them.
Right. Right.
It's so easy for us to look at another person and say, well, why don't they do something about that? Well, they don't even see it.
Right.
All right.
Right. Right.
Let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
Or unless you had a comment.
Nah, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
So self-control is disciplined actions. And you control your responses. It's so easy to speak before we think.
Oh yeah.
And not take a breath. Self-control, this is the ideal.
Yeah.
You do the right thing at the right time for the right reason and in the right way.
Right.
Now, that is an ideal to attain to.
Yeah. And it can be very hard sometimes, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So social awareness is knowing others, and it's understanding others. And once you have some knowledge of the human behavior model, you begin to understand others.
Yes.
Now, here's the next level.
Okay.
And this is one where, I really struggle. You can read a situation and you can understand how others might feel and react. We know how we're feeling and reacting.
Right.
But unless you've got a high level of social awareness, you may not see how the others in the group might feel and react.
Yeah. And some of us, I mean, I feel like I've gotten a social awareness, and I've been totally wrong before too. Like I thought I knew how the person really maybe was feeling, but not. In where I worked at a hospital, and we have what we call code greens, and that's when a patient or a patient's parent was being a little upset, with a practitioner. So we would call a code green. And so I had to do a lot of conflict resolution. And I can recall one time that I thought I was reading the person and I was totally wrong. And me, as being the practice manager, I had to diffuse it. And I was going down the wrong lane. And I figured it out really quickly that I was going down the wrong lane. But once I recalibrated that, I'm misreading this person and how they're feeling right now, I had to do something differently. Like you're talking about a different personality. I knew I had to treat them differently and do a different tactic of conflict resolution. So, that's where social awareness is helpful, is when you are as a leader, as to reading a situation like that. But I've been wrong. And I'm pretty good at reading people. And I was pretty wrong. And I had to really, I had to really reassess myself later and go, okay, next time I need to be more patient and I need to listen more than thinking more. Right? So.
Yeah. I mean, it seems, when you think about it and you say, I could probably get some sense how other people are feeling if I could ask, well, how do you feel about that? Or what do you think about that? And get them to express,
right.
If they can.
Yeah. Right. I mean, in this situation, what I wasn't thinking about was a fear level that they had.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't reading there because to me, the situation didn't include fear, but I took fear out of it. But what it was is they were fearful. And so
Sure.
I didn't understand them at that level because, I don't tend to be fearful. So I really had to take myself totally out of the situation of like, this is not the way you're thinking. This isn't how you think. This is how this person's thinking. This is what that's why they're reacting the way they are. So, that was different. They were being protective and fearful at the same time. So I just didn't understand that until I listened. I had to actually stop my own thought process on how I would handle the situation and take myself out of it. So that was the cool thing.
I had to learn the hard way, Sandy, that fear and anger are well, maybe they're closer than cousins, but they're really, really close. And if I'm angry, the first question I've got to ask myself is, what am I afraid of?
Oh, okay. That's good. Yes.
I learned this. I was in a class, and we had just completed what they call the fear exercise, which I can't go into detail about what was in that exercise. But after that exercise, it's the kind of class where you're supposed to raise your hand if you have a question. I didn't raise my hand, Sandy. I just started yelling at this doctor that I didn't like that was in the group.
Oh.
And then, of course, I apologized when I came back down. But that's when I saw, it really has nothing to do with him. I'm afraid. I'm just afraid. Oh, let's go on to the next slide.
Wow, that was good. Okay, hold on one second. All right. Okay.
All right. So social skill, and we've been talking about that, connecting with others, creating a climate, and adjusting your behavior to fit the situation. Yeah. So let's go on to the next slide, Sandy, and get into the model of human behavior here.
We kind of covered that the last slide, huh?
Yeah, we did, or lack thereof. Okay. So leading yourself begins with understanding what you do and why you do it. So this first part will be about what, and we'll get into the why a little later on.
Okay.
Next slide.
Okay. All right.
So the model of human behavior has two dimensions. Some people are fast-paced, they're outgoing, they're optimistic, they're energetic. And, if they have a problem, they want to talk things out. Talk things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know somebody like that.
I think I do too. And then the other side is the slower paced. And what we like to do, because I'm one of them, is we like to think things through. If we have a problem, we're going to go in our room and we're going to think about it. Our fast-paced friend is phoning a friend.
Yeah.
Maybe us.
Right. Usually that is the truth. I will actually, yes, because if I talk to somebody like-minded, we talk in circles. If I talk to somebody that's not, that is the opposite of me, we tend to have, they make me think of things in a different perspective most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one's not, here's the thing. One's not right or wrong. They're just different. Some of us are fast paced. Some of us are slower paced.
Right.
And, Sandy, you've identified yourself as fast paced.
Yes.
Larry, if you want to weigh in, if you're still following us, I think I know, but you might put in the chat. Or anybody else that's with us.
Yes, if you guys are with us,
slow pace.
Yeah, put in the comments, which one you are. That would be great. So.
Okay, so everybody understands this, Cindy. Everybody knows about introvert, extrovert.
Right.
We know. I'm going to tell you where the real problems begin. Let's go on to the next slide.
Okay. All right.
Some of us our priority, we're more task oriented. We like goals, plans, projects. Next slide. And some of us are more people oriented, like we like feelings, opinions, and relationships. Now, just for this evening, you can change your mind later.
Yeah.
Sandy, would you say you're more task oriented or more people oriented?
Well, that's funny that I'm task oriented, I think, in my profession, in my jobs. But I think personality, like outside of that, I'm people oriented.
So what's really interesting about these two questions, Sandy, and when you're having a networking meeting, you can ask people these two questions. One question they'll usually answer, boom, right away. And the other one, it will take a little bit longer to answer. And so you can see that that you are a fast-paced person, but you've got some people, and you've got some tasks.
Larry's answering, so.
Yeah, I see. Larry's fast-paced.
And then people. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes. That is Larry. Yes.
I thought so too.
All right, let's go on to the next slide.
Okay.
Now, what we do is we put those two dimensions together. So if you're fast-paced and task-oriented, we call you the D or the dominant style.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Next slide. If you're fast-paced, people-oriented, that's the inspiring style. Right. So, Sandy, I see you're a blend of the dominant and inspiring styles, and I would say Larry probably falls into that too, inspiring dominant.
Yes.
Okay, next slide.
Okay.
Slower pace, people-oriented, that's the supportive style.
Right. Next
slide. My favorite style, slower pace, task-oriented, the C or the cautious style.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm when I answer that first question, I'm slower paced, but I'm right down the middle. I can go from task to people just like that.
Right.
Just like that.
Yeah. I know. I told you that I was a C, but definitely no. I'm definitely
I would say, and I'm guessing here's the thing. Go on to the next slide.
Okay. Go there.
We're a blend of all four. So you see, Sandy, you have some C. You have some S, you have some I, you have some D. And when we do your personality profile, we're going to see exactly how that comes out. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We're a blend of all four. You go to some personality folks and we all do this thing where back pre-COVID, where we divide the room. We have the outgoing people come up to the front. Trouble. The slower paced people, you go to the back, please. I have to coax them out of their chairs. Then we put task people here, so you wind up with four corners for the D, I, S, and C.
Right.
Well, some people think that we're pigeonholing you into a corner. No, you're a blend of all four. You have some of all four, and we're a unique blend. So like you and Larry here, you're both fast paced. You both have tasks and people, but you've got some traits I would say Larry doesn't have, and vice versa from those groups.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's go on to the next slide.
I love that bird too.
That's the blend. So the dominant style, the outgoing task-oriented, they're dominant, they're direct, they're decisive. I tell when I'm doing my sales presentation, I say, if you know you're going to meet with this style, you better have a contract for them to sign with you. Now, the good news is they're not going to read the contract, so it doesn't. If certain things aren't filled in, don't worry about it. Just have something for them to sign because they're going to make a decision today. Okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and they're going to make it quick. And
Right. So, hey, Jason.
hey, Jason.
And yes, direct bottom line.
Bottom line. Yes, absolutely.
See, I don't know if I'm that. I don't know if I'm that.
Okay, well,
yeah. Kind of weird.
Okay. Yes. Let's go on to let's go on and talk a little bit more.
Okay.
If you know, and we all have met this style because these are what we call our natural born leaders, right? These are the general patterns, that lead out in front. They lead with tenacity, drive, and energy. One reason we Chiefs fans like Patrick Mahomes is that he can move through all four personality styles.
Right.
But out of this dominant style, he leads with tenacity. He doesn't give up. That's what we see.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
We like him.
All right, next slide.
Okay, and then and while I change that, I guess there we go.
Yes, Jason, you're absolutely right. As I said, I think just before you came on, that we're a blend of all four. Mm-hmm. And you do have one primary style. Most people have two above the midline, meaning a primary and a secondary style that are pretty strong. Yeah. So right. The dominant leader, and we've all worked for people like this, they expect people to accept responsibility, do whatever it takes, and get results.
Right.
Right. Never quit. Yes.
Never quit.
Get
That's
results.
Right. Get
all
results.
Right. Let's talk about their blind spots.
Right.
Oh, they like to delegate, but keep control.
Yeah, I know people like that.
My last boss in my corporate job was a dominant style person, and I remember one day he said, "Judy, would you call so and so over at such company about blah blah blah?" I said, "Sure." And being the type of person I am, I put it on my calendar for 2:00 in the afternoon to call so and so. About 10 minutes later, my boss comes back to my office and said, "Judy, I called that guy." I'm like, okay, scratched it off my calendar. This group decides before getting details. They don't, this is so frustrating to people like me, okay? They decide before getting the details. They feel like, let's make a decision, let's move on. We can always adjust later. Yeah. And this last bullet says that they ignore relationship issues. It isn't so much, I don't believe it's so much that they ignore them, is that they just don't see them, okay? They just don't see them. They're so task-oriented, okay?
Right. Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the next style.
Okay.
All right, Sandy, I have a feeling you might see yourself here.
Okay.
The inspiring style, people are inspiring, they're influential, and they're always interesting, okay? Oh, and your symbol is the red star.
Yeah,
interesting.
Nice.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
And when you're leading with inspiration, enthusiasm, maybe a little bit of humor. How's that sound?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go on to your what you expect. Oh, you want people to just relax, lighten up, and go with the flow, and be flexible.
Yes.
Yeah, let's be
Yeah.
flexible. Does this sound?
Everybody just get along. Come on.
Oh,
Teamwork.
well,
Teamwork makes the dream work.
you're going to see a little of yourself, I think, in the supportive style too. We'll see.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
let's go
Great.
on.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mm.
these could be your blind spots. You think that talking about a project is the same as doing the project.
Yeah.
You could,
I used to, but I did see my blind spot in that. Yes.
yeah.
Or I delegated it. I could be the idea person, but I needed to delegate it to the do
Yes.
person. Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't see you as being unorganized, but you know some I types are.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, this group has a very difficult time settling on a career. This says lacking direction. That sounds negative. I think it's more because there are so many opportunities and ideas that call this person forth.
There's many different skills. Right.
Settling on one is the real challenge.
Yeah, that's boring. One career? Are you kidding? That's no fun.
My mentor at Personality Insights, the founder, Dr. Robert Rome, is a high I, and he's been so many different things before he finally settled down to run his business. He's been a pastor, he's been a teacher, but he's found his life's calling in doing the personality styles.
Oh, wow.
All right, next.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
All right, now here is the supportive style. Now this is the reserved, people-oriented, and we give them the plus or minus. They're because if we ask a supportive style, where would you like to go to lunch? They'll say, I don't know. Where would you like to go?
Oh, yeah.
My daughter is one of these. She's been at the same job now since 2001. They're very stable. They're very steady.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This is a third of the population is a supportive style. So we really need to understand this group.
Right.
These are the people behind the scenes, okay, and getting things done. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next slide.
Okay.
These folks don't really want to be leaders, but if they are, they're going to lead with encouragement because that's what they want. They're going to lead with support. They're going to try to help you get the job done. They're going to give you affirmation. They're leading with these things because this is what they want. So this is what they think you want. Okay. So that's how they lead.
Yes.
When my daughter was trying to lead a team member that was a little bit not motivated, she'd say, if you get all these charts done by 10 o'clock, I'll get you a candy bar out of the candy machine. That's how an S leads.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know Jason has a long, comment. So I'm just going to put it up there before we moved on. Yeah.
Jason, you're right. The doctors and lawyers would have a lot of that D personality style. And the D personality style does not need anyone to tell them they're doing a good job. They know they're doing a good job. So they figure, Jason, as long as I'm not telling you you're messing up, everything's cool.
Right.
And they're also afraid that if they tell you you're doing a good job, then you're just going to slack off. See?
Yes. Yes. Oh.
Okay.
And I worked for a lot of doctors for a long time. So yes, yes. Oh, I didn't realize he was talking. We do know somebody like that, right?
Well, I'm glad now you understand that person a little better. And
Right.
uh,
Yes, multiple. Yes, we there's two people we know. So, so
yeah. And
yeah.
Here's the thing. Since you're thinking about that dominant style person, let me give you the clue for working with. Yeah, we know how to motivate Larry. The clue for working with the dominant style is they need three things.
Okay.
They need a challenge.
Yep.
They need choices, and they need control. So you always want to give them a choice. And it doesn't have to be a big choice. It could be, do you want to meet Monday or Tuesday?
Yep.
I tell parents of the dominant style child, don't tell them put on your socks, because they're going to hear that as, I'm going to have a fight with mom and dad about whether I'm going to put my socks on. But if you say, do you want to wear your green socks or your blue socks? They may put on yellow socks, but if they've got their socks on, that's what you needed. The choice is what they need. Okay, let's get back to this.
Good.
Let's get back to this supportive, because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Back to the sweet supportives. They expect people to just be nice and be helpful, and like you said, Sandy, support the team. Just can't we just get along? Okay.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What are they thinking?
All right. Next slide. Now, here are the blind spots of the supportive.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lovely lady I worked with who was she was a supportive style, and one of the guys said, she's more like a mom than a manager. They're blind spots. They avoid confrontation. Confrontation, no.
Right.
They're indecisive. They don't want to make the wrong decision, so they don't make any decision.
Right.
And they're being overwhelmed. Why are they overwhelmed? Because they don't know how to say this one little bitty word. It's one teeny tiny word, the word no.
Yeah.
So my daughter, she found on the internet 30 different ways of saying no. And she's got that right in front of her computer monitor. Nice. So she can say things like, I'm not the best person for that project.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of no. Right.
And a simple thing to do is to say, for the supportive, is to say, let me look at my schedule and I'll get back to you. Because guess what? The dominant style will keep dialing until he or she finds somebody to do it. So
that's so true. I know some people like that. Yes.
Okay.
Next one.
Let's move on. This is Judy's favorite style here.
Oh.
I was a computer programmer in a former life, so this is me.
Okay.
The cautious, the C style. We're very calculating. That means we're always thinking about something.
Right.
How to do something. We're thinking. We're very competent. We're usually the A students, in school.
Right.
Next slide.
Yeah, I was too busy talking too much.
Of course. Now, when we're the boss, we naturally lead with rules, procedures, and guidelines. Mm-hmm. If there is not a manual, we are going to create a manual. Okay.
Right.
And you are going to follow that manual. And we're going to have step-by-step procedures.
Step by step. Yeah.
And for every possible situation that erupts, we're going to have guidelines. Okay. That's just how we lead.
Oh, brother. What?
He was just putting up his personality style, which Laurie, I don't think I've done yours, but that sounds right. Dominant is first, I, then C, then S. Yeah.
Yeah.
let's do the next slide.
Okay, there we go.
Here's what my group expects people. We want you to focus. Think of Spock on Star Trek. Focus.
Oh, yeah.
Follow the rules
Yes.
and be logical. And be
Right.
logical. Just be logical.
Just, yeah, that it is funny. You're right. We have all phases. Like I have that. I mean, there's certain things out of each one of these that I
have some C.
Yeah, most definitely. So, and be logical. Okay.
Now, here's our blind spots. Like our friends, other task-oriented friends, the dominant style, again, I don't think it's because that we're so much ignoring the people issues. We just we don't see them. Okay. We don't see them.
Okay.
Like our friends, our supportive friends, we put things off because we're perfectionists and we don't want to send out a memo with a misspelled word,
Typo. Yeah.
And
that's
as my friends that know me will tell you, I am definitely too picky. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
okay. Well, Sandy, we finished the part of the presentation that goes through the personality styles and their leadership. So I can see that we're coming up toward the end of our time together.
Yes.
Are there any? So I would say let's just close out the presentation at this point and any questions and comments that you or others might have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So I can see I have dominant. I can see 3 of them actually, more so. Probably the cautious, but I can see some parts of that too. So the whole procrastinating piece, I have different blind spots, I think, out of all of them.
Well, and this is just the thing is that everybody is a unique blend.
Okay.
I'm a cautious style person, but Sandy, I couldn't let you come over to see my room right now because it looks like a supportive style person's room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty.
What noise is that? Oh, that's my timer.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, yeah, I if I think about it, I was telling you I thought I was a high C, but I think it's a high I, probably.
I really feel that that you're an I personality style. My sister is too.
Yeah.
So we cover both sides of the equation like this. Yeah.
Right. My sister, the same. My sister, she's more on the cautious.
She's more like me.
Yeah. I noticed that when we, being neighbors, I noticed that when that I was probably more like her and my sister was like you. I identified that kind of quickly. It was kind of funny. And it's just the way that we're made, right? So
yes, it's genetic.
Yeah. But see, my dad, I take after my dad, but he's a dominant style. So and he's maybe watching too, because I told him to watch tonight, but he's more on the dominant end because he will do that. He'll tell you to do something and then he'll move on to have done it already. So you're like, hey, I was gonna, and he'd be like, I already did it.
If they give you an order and it's something you really would like to do, you just better go do it now, or yes, like you said, they'll beat you to it.
I have little pieces of that as well. So I had to change my personality style to whatever job description I had.
Sure.
So I could fall into cautious or supportive, depending on what job I had. I had a job where I was just but I was a claims analyst, and I put a headset on and I did work, like I didn't talk to anybody on the phone. I had a headset on. I just processed claims all day, and I knew
when you got home, you went out to party, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. Because I couldn't handle not talking to people. We had these high cubicles, like the high ones.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that job was going to kill me. I mean, it was an easy job. It was a good job. And I just was going. So I climbed the ladder very quickly there to get out of that so I could talk to people. So I could actually, so instead of just wanting to be in management, I just wanted to talk to people.
Sure.
It drove me crazy. So my hobbies, and I see that now, all my hobbies, if I had a job that was very rigid like that and very just one, task oriented, I'd have to have a hobby where I was doing something, way more out there, and vice versa. When I had the high management job where I was around a lot of people, had to do a lot of people things, then I needed my decompression time in my free time. So I'm not sure which one I like the people oriented jobs. I have to be talking with people. That's why during this pandemic and all of this, I started this live streaming. So that just totally makes sense because I needed to connect. I needed to do something. So let's see. What did he say? Done it already. Getting dark. What does that mean? I missed the meeting. Larry, you'll have to explain that. Okay. So, you're so and I style predominantly. Okay. Well, he's telling me what I am too. So, but
until we do your assessment, we will not know for sure. You could be furious.
Yeah. Who knows? So it depends on, I think it sometimes depends on the season, right? I mean, don't you go through different transitions or do you predominantly stay one?
So when we do your assessment, Sandy, we'll do, you'll get 2 graphs. One is going to tell you really how you're born, the real you.
Okay.
And the other graph is going to show you how you're behaving in your current environment. And that will change over time. When you were a claims analyst, your C probably in your environment style, your C probably went up and your I went down. Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's why I did shift. And I even saw I had done that. I was like, okay, so now I was an Irish dancer at the time. So I did something very extroverted outside of the claims analyst thing. I had to go blow off some steam, Larry, no grass growing under his feet. That's no doubt. So as by sticking by the rules would drive you crazy if you had to stick to it that too much. Oh, thanks a lot. Sticking to the rules. It's funny. I do HR for another company and I had to do the procedure manual. That was very tedious for me.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't hire that out.
I should have delegated that, but that was my only job at the time. So I did it. But it was more fun going to interview the people that I was doing their job descriptions and putting that under one umbrella. So it did actually work out, because I like to talk to people. So yeah. Wow. I liked this a lot. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate it. So you guys, I hope that you find her on, and I put the links. I put out a flyer today. I put the links to her Instagram, her Facebook, and to her website on there. If you would like to inbox me, if you need more details on how to contact her, please put it in the comments. And Judy, thank you so much. And this is managers need to know these things. They really do. And if you're managing some people, you definitely need to know, where your employees are in that so that you can motivate them the right way. Exactly what Judy was saying. So thank you so much.
Sandy, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I would love to have you on again sometime and talk about something else too. So great, because I know you do many things. So would love to have you on here. So thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for all of your comments. And I appreciate it, Judy, very much. And I'm going to lead us out of here, and have a wonderful, awesome week. And peace out.